All right. I want to welcome everyone to this pay period kickoff webinar. For those of you that don't know, my name is Matt Hickey. I am most likely your closest upline Emerald leader in Advocare. And these pay period kickoff calls, while we love product users and we love answering questions for product users, this is a business builders webinar. So for those who are looking to earn extra $500 or more, this is a webinar for you. For product users, reach out to the person who invited you to Advocare and who's got you started, and they can answer any questions for you there. For the rest of us, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Now, I'm going to share my screen real quick, and it's probably going to look funny for a second, but just hang tight. There we go. All right, so here we go. So I want to start off with just kind of what we're covering tonight. So we're going to go over our pay period recognition from the last pay period we just came out of. We're also going to talk about how to recruit. So you may have noticed, and I'll talk a little bit more about how Brandon and Olivia recruited 19 people this last pay period. So we're going to talk about how they did that and how you can do the same thing, or at least get similar results. Okay, then we're going to go into some specific business training. And then I also left on the right-hand side of your screen, you should have the chat box. You can type in some questions and I'll make sure to answer those live for you today on this webinar. So let's talk about top 10 PGV. All right, this is what we start off with first. And you can see Brandon and Olivia, number one there with over 11,000 in volume this pay period. So, you know, the question is, how did they do that? Well, massive action. And we're going to talk more about that as I go through this recognition and get into the training. But congratulations to everyone on there. You know, the goal for new distributors is really to hit that $1,000 mark. If you've been in Advocare for longer than a year, you should really be looking at that 3,000 mark. Okay, so what is PGV? PGV is your personal volume, so any personal purchases that you have. It's also your group volume, so anybody who is in qualification for advisor, so anybody that has over a $500 order that is a distributor on your team. And then also any orders that go directly through your website. So you talk to a friend, they want to buy the challenge, they go to your website, place an order, that's going to show up as personal volume. So the combination of those two is PGV, and that's what you see here on the screen. So all of these are a combination of distributors on each person's team as well as their own personal purchases, not from advisors. Okay, now we have top recruiters. So Brandon and Olivia with 19, Marcus and Jessica as well as Elisa with 5 each. And I do want to give a shout out to Marcus and Jessica right now. This weekend, they are competing in the Arnold Sports Festival in Columbus, Ohio. Jessica in bikini and Marcus in men's physique. So good luck to both of you. I know you guys are going to rock it out. And if you guys do not follow Marcus and Jessica or the Oshodens, I highly recommend that you do it. A lot of cool videos on how they train and all that good stuff. So total of 37 new teammates. And, you know, for teammates who join us, we always say, look, if you're here for products, we hope to add value through our Facebook group pages, through trainings and different webinars that we put on. And for those of you who are looking at this as a business opportunity, I really hope you get a lot out of these trainings as well, because our goal for you is to make you the most well-equipped distributors out there, being able to achieve the goals that you've set for yourself and the goals that your team have set for each other. So that's why we do these. We want to keep everyone together. So please stay active with the Facebook group pages. Stay in touch with your sponsor. You know, make sure they understand what your goals are and where you want to go with this, because that's the only way we can help you. You know, I tell people all the time, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and that's absolutely true in this business. As we start getting more and more distributors, we need to know who the serious ones are. So those who are reaching out to us are the ones that are going to get our energy. Okay. Also want to welcome new advisors, or congratulate new advisors, Stephanie and Ebony. Both of you have reached that pivotal level in Advocare, which is at 40% discount, but also 40% earnings. And it now opens all 5 ways that we get paid in Advocare, which is exciting. So as a distributor, you get paid 2 ways, which is great. All right, but if you really want to maximize your earning potential, get to the advisor level. It just makes sense. 40% is so much better than 20 or 25 or whatever discount level that you're at. Now, those who are new advisors, you have 3 pay periods to earn the rookie bonus. It's a $500 rookie bonus, and all you have to do is sponsor 3 new distributors. Okay, it doesn't matter if they're business builders, they can just be product users. Okay, just 3 new distributors, and through your new distributors, accumulate $3,000 in volume. So what can that look like? That could be 2 product users enroll, get their challenge, and then you have 1 person who is serious about building this as a business, and they place an advisor order. Okay, well, that's at least 3 new distributors. You hear the cat in the background meowing. That's at least 3 new distributors, and that's over $3,000 in volume. So you earn a $500 rookie bonus by doing that. Now, you can play with those numbers however you want. It could be 6 distributors who join, and they all place a $500 order. So that's $3,000 in volume, and that's at least 3 new distributors. So play around with that, but the reality is it's an extra $500 on top of what you're going to earn just for doing what you're supposed to be doing anyway. So that's a really nice thing to have. And those of you who hit advisor last pay period or the pay period before that, you'll see your names on the left-hand side, so on pace, and the dates that your qualification period ends. Okay, so if we look at Kara, Michael, Chelsea, Trudy, and Julie, this is your last pay period to qualify for the rookie bonus. So see where you're at. How many new distributors do you have? Through those new distributors, how much volume do you have? And that way you can kind of plan out your pay period. So let's rock this out, guys. Extra $500 can do a lot of good. All right, now let's get into the training. Now, this is not the new distributor training. As I always do on these pay period kickoffs, I do a little training for everyone. And then after this, I do a basic training for new distributors. But if you are a distributor who's been around for a while and you haven't hit the goals that you've set, or maybe things aren't moving as fast as you would like them to, I want you to stick around for that training too, because you may hear 1 or 2 things that really get you going and kind of reminds you of what you should be doing so you can be successful. All right, but as far as recruiting, so how do you recruit 19 people in a pay period? It's a great question. And I can tell you this, knowing Brandon, knowing Olivia, it's all about massive action, which I'll talk about in a second, but probably the biggest thing that they have is mindset. And anybody that knows Brandon and Olivia or knows their team in general, it is all about mindset. They talk about that a lot. And you've probably heard me talk about it as well. Nothing matters. You can know everything. You can know everything about the products. You can know everything about direct sales. But if your mind isn't at the level of wanting to help people and wanting success as much as you want to breathe, then it can be very hard for you to achieve the goals that you set here. So, I mean, it absolutely is true that mindset matters most. You have to go into conversations with people with the mindset of you're there to help them. You have something they can truly benefit from, and you know that you can be the one that locks arms with them and helps them achieve their goals. Whether it's product or it's business or a combination of the two, you need to go in there with that mindset. And you also have to go into with the mindset that no is okay. All right, because if you have talked to anybody during your time in Advocare, you've probably received at least a few no's. I've been doing this almost 6 years now, and I still get no's. In fact, today I got shot down by somebody I truly thought was going to say yes and would be interested, and she shot me down. But that's okay, because typically when somebody says no, It's either not right now or this isn't a good time, or, it could be you didn't build value into it. And, as a new distributor, sometimes that happens, but don't let that ruin the rest of your day or ruin you talking to other people. Okay, so you have to be in the mindset that, hey, no is okay. No is one step closer to a yes. Okay, then we also have to ask good questions. And I'm going to go over some of the questions that we should be asking. And that you need to know the 4 ways people can get involved. If you don't know the 4 relationships in Advocare, you've really got to get that down. We have 4 ways. So one is a retail customer. That's somebody can order products directly from you through the website or through products that you have on hand. There's the discount option. Okay, so that's somebody who sees the value in the products, understands that this is a lifestyle, not a quick fix, and know that they're going to continue on some products. What that is going to depend on their goals and their budget. But that discount customer option is going to help them save quite a bit in the long run. And so they can get anywhere from a 20 to a 30% discount. Now, the 3rd and 4th ways are going to be more business relationships. So you have the hobby distributor, somebody who wants to maximize their discount so they get the 40% level. They're casually sharing with just friends and family, but they're really not plugging into things like this. And then you have that business builder. That's the 4th relationship. That is somebody who truly sees that they want to use the tools, the success system, just like you are, to build a business of significance. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more, but I always share the 4 relationships with people when I'm talking to them. If they say, yes, I'm interested, great, here are your options. Okay, so you need to know those 4 ways that people can get involved. And then you've seen or heard this slogan before, fortune is in the follow-up, and that's absolutely true. So there are, letting them know about their discount options, following up with who they know, and then, of course, just general follow-up, making sure they're taking the products the right way and they're getting the results that they're looking for. So when you're recruiting, these are all things that you need to know. So let's go into a little bit more detail. So what are 4 product questions to ask? And this is being recorded, so if I go through it too fast and you're taking notes, just know that I'm going to post the recording when we're done here, and you can kind of go through and you can pause it. Okay, but first and foremost, we want to know, okay, what are your goals? What are people really trying to achieve with their health? And, make sure you're saying, what are you trying to achieve this year with your health? So, we've got a nice short-term goal. There may be, 100 pounds that they need to lose. Well, this year, I'd like to lose 50. Okay, and at this point, all you're doing is listening. Okay? You're not there to tell them exactly what they need just yet. Just listen. Then talk about how their nutrition is. And you're looking for key things that you can kind of plug in, maybe the 24-day challenge or different products. Do they eat breakfast in the morning? Well, no. Hey, meal replacement shake may be the best option for you. Are they getting in small, frequent meals? How are their energy levels? All that stuff is what you're looking for. You're looking for cues so that you can set up Advocare and you as a solution for their needs. And then also ask, hey, are there any medical issues that we should be aware of? And this is nice because it just really, it opens people up to share a little bit more about what's going on in their lifestyle or in their life. But also we need to know that if there is any medicine that they take, refer them to their doctor depending on what it is. But also we need to know that if they're taking any medication in the morning, because the fiber drink. So if they're taking any medicines in the morning, we need to separate that from the fiber drink. So they'll take their medication as they normally do, and maybe they have the fiber drink middle of the day. Okay, not a big deal as long as they get it in at some point. Okay, and then the next part, and I like to kind of use this with somebody maybe who I'm kind of talking to for the first time. I really don't know them all that well yet, but just getting to know them. I say, hey, look, now that we're best friends, are you regularly using the restroom? And we'll get a chuckle or whatever. But the reality is, this is a major epidemic in our country. So we need to make sure that we figure that out. Make sure that they're, if they're not using the restroom, that is a great way to plug in the cleanse, or the 24-day challenge to get them to be consistently using it on a regular basis, because that is a sign of a healthy body. Okay, so those are 4 questions to ask on the product side, and then 4 questions to ask on the business side. And this is kind of how you can start it. Obviously it's probably not going to be a Joe that you're talking to. It could be like, hey Joe, at the end of these 4 questions, I'm going to be able to give you the proper plan for earning income with Advocare. So let me ask you first, why are you looking at Advocare? What attracts you to it? Okay, this is something that I love this question, because it gets them to pretty much sell themselves on Advocare. Okay, so you're going to get to know why they want to be part of Advocare. And a lot of times you will get that, hey, I just really like to help people, and I think this will be a good option to be able to do that. And you say, hey, you know what, that's great, but let's talk more about your lifestyle, what this can do for you. So, what's your schedule like with work? Are you in debt, or do you have debt? A lot of people don't want to talk about that, but I know for me at the beginning, I had quite a bit of debt building my business, and Advocare was not only just a solution for me to be able to help my clients, and also I use products anyway, so why not get the best products at a 40% discount? But I saw it as a way to earn some income to pay down my debt. So then, ask them what type of income would make a measurable impact and take some pressure off their finances, and get a specific number. And then it's, when would you like to be making this income? And you really want a specific date, because that puts a plan into action. That gets them to start thinking about, okay, here's the stop date. Now I need to work my way back into seeing how I can make that happen. And that's what you guys are going to do together. Okay, so always set a date with a goal, and then you can work backwards on how to achieve it. And then what would you do with an extra, if they want an extra $1,000 a month, or an extra $1,000 by June? What are they going to do with that money? Get people to start dreaming again. We all get stuck in the rut of the regular 9 to 5, and we really need to be able to show people that there is more possible, that they can do more and be more. And so having them start thinking about what they would do with the income can definitely make a huge impact. All right, so what do you do once you have all that? All right, so once you've talked to them about their goals, you've made, you've kind of shared some stories. Now you're just going to make a recommendation based on their goals. Make a recommendation, and don't feel bad about $195 for the challenge. Okay, if you have talked to them about their problem specifically, you're going to show them a solution. You need to make the best recommendation for them. And if $195 is way out of their budget, that's fine, but you need to start somewhere. So I always start, with the best option for them. And if that's too much, then that's when you need to get creative with knowing the products and knowing the prices of things. So maybe you just have them start with the cleanse, and then after the cleanse, they do Thermo Plus and Spark. Or maybe they just start with meal replacement shakes and Thermo Plus. Come up with different options based on their needs and that fit within their budget. Okay, once you make that recommendation, then it's going into the 4 relationships. But more importantly, you're going to share those relationships, but also what you chose to do and why. So all of you obviously enrolled for the discount. Okay, whether you're a 20% distributor right now, or you're at the advisor level, you chose to pay that $79. Why? And also, not only why, but why would somebody else not want to do that? And that's something that I share with people all the time, and it just kind of clicks. Like, yeah, I guess, I did it, so it made sense to me. So share that with them. So I'm always sharing all 4 relationships, and then I'm letting them know, this is what I did, and this is why. Okay, and then right after that, it says, hey, what are you the most comfortable with? Which relationship is best for you? And let them decide. Okay, so that means you need to shut up for a second. There may be some awkward silence. That's perfectly fine, because they're kind of processing everything. $79 enrollment, I get $69 in products. I'm going to save $40 on my challenge, and I have a discount going forward. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so just let them process it, and they'll let you know where they want to be. And if they say, hey, you know what, I just want to buy it retail from you, that's great. And here's a great example of that. So I just met with a woman today, and we had been talking over the last couple of days. She wanted to get the challenge. I let her know about the relationships, and I asked her, what are you most comfortable with? And she said, I think for right now, I just want to do retail from you and see how the products work. I said, great. So we met up today, started talking to her, and she handed me $200. And then she said, hey, I think I'm probably going to go ahead and enroll tonight. And so I told her, I said, look, if that's what your plan is, I'm going to go ahead and give you the 20% discount on this challenge for you. So I handed her $40 back. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. The key to that is if I had not shared the 4 relationships, she wouldn't have enrolled. She wouldn't have known. Okay, and sometimes it just takes people a day or two to process it, but you need to make sure that you're sharing those. And then, of course, following up with people is one of the most important things that you can do. Not only people who have enrolled with you, but maybe even more specifically, people who are on product. Because those people, if you can make sure that they get good results, and you need to follow up with them. I was on a call with a distributor the other day who, she's very similar to me. You can give me a program. I do not need somebody to call me to follow up to make sure I'm taking my products the right way or I'm eating the right foods. If you give me a plan, I'm going to follow it. Okay, but that is not the majority of people. The majority of people need you to hold their hand through this. And that's why we have things like the 24-day challenge coaching checklist. So it's an easy tool for you to use when you have somebody on the challenge. You know what day to give them a call, what you should be asking, what you should be looking for, because it is vital to your business to ensure that they get good results. And that's all going to be in the follow-up. Okay, and then get good at asking the question, who do you know? Okay, when somebody's on product, they're getting great results. It's just like when you go to a movie or your friend went to a movie and they're like, oh man, you got to go see this. This movie was awesome. Okay, it's the same thing. They're going to want to share it with other people. Whether they want to do that as a business or not doesn't matter. For you, you just want to get in front of the people that they know, and that's how you can build this business. Just with massive momentum, because you don't need to know a ton of people. You just need to get good at asking that question and digging into who they know. And then you have an unlimited number of people to talk to. All right, so some extra recruiting tips, and I'm going to kind of drive this one home, and then we're going to switch over to the basic training. But group challenges. So that's what Brandon and Olivia are doing right now. They put out a group challenge that had an incentive tied to it. So I believe they have a cash incentive along with it. But you can do things simple. Like when I first started my very first group challenge, the #1 results, they got their distributorship paid for. Second place got a canister of Spark, and third place got a box of Spark. But I had 20 people on the challenge, so it was definitely worth it. And then booths. So booths are good, but not everyone can do one. You have to be somebody who is outgoing, not somebody who's going to sit behind a desk and just wait for people to come up to you and talk. Okay, you need to be in front of that desk. Anytime I do a booth, I set up my table and then I push it all the way against the wall. That way I can't sit behind it. Okay, I always have to be out in front of it. But I'm somewhat of an outgoing guy, so I can look at somebody in the eye, say hello, try and pull them in, and I don't get upset if they're like, no, I'm good. Okay, I'll just go to the next person. But if you run out of fresh leads, booths may be the best thing for you because you get in front of brand new people. So what kind of booths are the best? Well, bridal shows. All right. They are spending tons of money on those shows and they want to fit good into those dresses. So bridal shows are great, fitness events, and health fairs. And a lot of health fairs, especially for corporations, you can get in for free. Bridal shows and fitness events you typically have to pay for. And based on what you get out of those events, you really have to be careful on how much you spend. One of the biggest things that I tell people is make sure that any show you do, you get a complete list of anybody who enrolled to come into the show. So they should email you an Excel spreadsheet with everyone's names and contact information. If they don't have that or they're not willing to give it to you, that better be a cheap booth. I'm talking $100 or less. If it's any more than that and they're not giving you that list, it's not worth it. Just move on to the next one. Okay, but ultimately, like I said earlier, massive action solves a problem. You know, when we talk about Brandon and Olivia recruiting 19 people, how many people do you think they talk to? You know, typically it's talk to 10, get one. You know, I think they have a little little better ratio there, maybe 3 to 1. But the reality is, not every single person they talked to said yes. They were just great at getting in front of as many people as possible. And, you know, they have some big goals that they want to meet. And the only way they're going to meet that is through massive action. So if you want to make this business work, you want to grow it fast, you've got to get in front of people. Remember, our 3 jobs in Advocare are to be a product of the product, talk to people, and coach and mentor our team. So massive action. If you haven't built a list yet, you need to get on that. We're going to talk about that here in a minute when I go through the basic training. There's a document that can actually help you with building your list and kind of get you thinking about the people you know and that are around you on a regular basis that you can talk to. So with that, guys, what should you do now? Well, first, focus on anyone that's in your organization that's on product. Again, follow up with them. If they have not enrolled for the discount or you haven't talked to them about the distributorship, that is definitely a conversation that you need to have. Those who are distributors, it's all about helping them get to the next level. You know, if they're not at advisor yet, or if you're not at advisor yet, you and they need to get there, and you need to figure out how you can do that. Remember, there's 2 ways. One is the advisor order, and the other is working your way there. And then follow up. Okay, you should always be following up, not only with people who are just doing the 24-day challenge for the first time, but it's people who have consistently used product. It's your distributors, because they need that constant follow-up. The reality is most people are working a 9 to 5. You know, so I do this as a full-time job. Well, not everyone's doing that, and life can get in the way and they forget to do things. So I always want to constantly follow up with people, just make sure that I'm keeping them in the loop. And that's why I do these webinars. I send out emails, I'll call, I'll text, you know, whatever you can do just to keep people in the loop. And remember, those who take advantage of the momentum that is going on right now, I mean, your lives can be changed forever. If you sit on the sidelines and watch everyone else do it, no, just guess where your income is going to be. All right, so take advantage of everything that's going on. Focus in on your business, your product users, your distributors, follow up, and guys, I promise you amazing things will happen. And of course, I'm here, and any of your sponsors are there to answer any questions for you as well. So hopefully that was helpful. I want to go into the basic training right now, so hang tight. Here we go. All right, so here's what we're going to go over. I'm going to try and get this done in about 20 minutes here. Try and keep these webinars to about 45 minutes. So we're going to talk about understanding how Advocare is different, finding your purpose, packaging your story, getting yourself and others to advisor, understand who you're looking for on the product side and the business side, as well as using the tools in the Bulletproof Shield, how to follow up with people, how to sponsor, and where you can find more information. I know that sounds like a lot. You're like, how am I going to get that done in 20 minutes? Don't worry, we'll make it happen. So ultimately, what makes Advocare different? There's many things. One of the things that really attracted me at the beginning was the guiding principles. I wanted to make sure that the company that I was going to represent had some good values and morals behind them. And if you haven't read the guiding principles, just look in your Impact magazine or go to the Advocare website and look at those. You know, those are the founding principles that Charlie Regis put together to ensure that the company would be represented well as the distributors. And anything that comes through Advocare, if it doesn't fit within those guiding principles, they don't do it. And that's why you're never going to find any fat ingredients or any just crazy stuff in Advocare, because it just doesn't fit within those principles. We also have unlimited earning potential. So there is no glass ceiling here. It doesn't matter who enrolled you, doesn't matter how much they're earning. This is truly a work program. The more work you put in, the more you're going to earn. And I can tell you this, I'm kind of curious to see where Brandon and Olivia go, because that massive action, they can easily out earn me. And that's fine. I love Brandon and Olivia. I want them to earn a lot, but that's the thing. This is a work program. So as much as you want to put in, it's as much as you can earn. Okay. And Advocare is all about leadership development. So you see the trainings like we're doing now. This isn't something that only I'm doing. You know, Advocare does this as you know, through their corporate staff, and they lead their top distributors to do this as well. And of course, it is all about a team approach. We're not in this by yourself. You may be in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. We're here to help you. So please use the success system. We'll talk more about that. And of course, this is a healthy environment. I mean, one of the things that I like the most about Advocare is when you see, or if you go to different events and you see other distributors, you're going to realize these are people who really do care about their health, and they care about the health of others. So that's really cool. You're not going to see a bunch of Advocare distributors outside a building, you know, smoking cigarettes and, you know, doing things that aren't healthy. Now, of course, it's 80-20 rule, so don't get me wrong. I'm going to have a drink now and then. I'm going to have some brownies every once in a while. It's all good. But, you know, ultimately, it's about leading a healthy lifestyle. And that's, you know, what Advocare is about. And then, of course, Advocare is all about designing your own future and living life on your terms. You know, but ultimately, it does come down to being great at the basic fundamentals. Okay, so that's what we're going to really cover here. And the 4 fundamentals, so using the products. Now, I always tell people, use what you can afford. You know, the 24-day challenge is the best place to start, but the reality is we have 70 different products. So at this point, you may only be able to afford Spark, and that's great. You know, when I first started, I did the 24-day challenge, and after that, I did M&S and Spark until I started sharing it and made some income, and then I started adding some more products. And now it's at the point where it's probably easier for me to tell you the products I don't take than the ones that I do take. Yeah, my cupboard's kind of full. But you know, it's use the products. You need to be a product of the product. Then talk to people. Okay, you can't just enroll and expect people to knock on your door. It's not going to happen. You actually have to get out there and talk to people. And then, of course, following up, which I talked about a little earlier. And then wearing the colors. And this is a big one. So, you know, you may see people that have the logo on their cars with the numbers and all that stuff. And I don't technically recommend that. I've tried it, not very good success. I do have the logo on my car, and that's different than having your number and, you know, health and wellness, financial opportunity. That kind of stuff to me is just weird. But wearing t-shirts, hats, things just to get the conversation going and to get somebody to ask you, hey, what's Advocare? Okay, and that way you can share your story. And we're going to talk about packaging your story here in a second. But wearing the colors is a vital tool in your arsenal to build your business. Okay, Nike's never going to pay me. Adidas is never going to pay me. So you'll see. I mean, I wear Advocare shirts all the time because that's who pays me. So it just makes sense. Now, one of the things that we talk about at the beginning of your business, you really need to understand what your purpose is in building an Advocare business. You know, why are you doing this? What's going to get you up in the morning? What's going to make you get a little uncomfortable? Because the reality is, this is not your normal 9-to-5. While direct sales and the Advocare system is very simple, it's not an easy business because it gets you out of your comfort zone. You know, talking to somebody about enrolling for a discount and, you know, building a distributorship, I mean, it's just not normal. And I know at the beginning, I really struggled with that, you know, but as I continued to do it and my confidence in the company, the products and all that continued, then it became very easy. But when you have a well-defined purpose, and your purpose has to be more initially than just about money. Okay, earning extra $2,000 a month is great, but what is that $2,000 going to do for you? So it needs to be a reason that motivates you. You do need to have that financial number. Okay, so you need to know exactly how much you're really looking for. You need to set a date to achieve it. And then probably the hardest thing in Advocare is employing yourself daily. And that's why we have tools like the daily method of operations. We have follow-up binders, things that really help you on a daily basis, ensure that you're doing the things that are going to help you get paid. Okay, but make sure you define that purpose. Make sure that it's, you know, something that is a burning desire that kind of gets you up in the morning and gets you excited about talking to people. And so we're going to go over how to package your story. And these are just a few recommendations when you're putting your story together. So first and foremost, just be brief. Okay, nobody is looking at wanting to hear about Drew Brees, the PsyMed board, informed choice, and all that stuff. They want to know what Advocare is going to do for them, and you need to position it in that way. So facts tell and stories sell, and that's why we share stories. So you need a 30-second version and then a 3-minute version. The 30-second version is going to be kind of like your elevator speech, and then the 3-minute version is only for those times where you're actually sitting down with somebody. Okay, so if you're in a grocery store and you pass somebody that you know and you've been meaning to talk to them, or you see them yawn, okay, it's a 30-second story. You're not sitting in the grocery store for 3 minutes talking about Advocare. Just don't do it. You will lose them every time. Okay, so your 30-second story is really just to set up a time to be able to talk to them a little bit more and get them interested. But you need to make sure you practice it, make it conversational, because the reality is if you sound robotic, it's not going to go anywhere. So ultimately, what is your story? Your story is where you were, what you saw and what you did, where you are or some results that you got, and where you're going, and then you end with a question. So for me, I was a small business owner working 80+ hours per week, and I was tired. I was also in a lot of debt from building that business. My buddy introduced me to Advocare, and first thing he gave me was a product called Spark, and I tried that, and I swear I got more done in 3 hours than I had that whole week. And so I started using some of the products, and then I started sharing them with a few friends. And not only am I in the best shape of my life now, but I'm earning an extra couple $1,000s a month, and it's helping me pay off that debt. So now I'm helping others do the same thing. Does any of this sound interesting to you, or can I show you more about it? Really, all you're doing is trying to package your story in a way that's quick and concise and gets them to want to hear more. Okay, and then the next step for you is getting to advisor. Okay, so why do you want to get to advisor? Well, one, it gets you inventory to create some product momentum. It gets product into people's bodies, so you get results that you can start sharing with others. Okay, so you'll have your own story and the story of others. It also creates a sense of urgency. So we're going to quickly go over the advisor order. I can tell you this: you have several 24-day challenges sitting on your kitchen counter. Well, you're going to get out there and start talking to people. So doing the advisor order definitely gives you that sense of urgency. And also know this, that most people are going to join the same way that you did. Okay, so if you did the advisor order and you got there within 1 pay period, or you got there within 3 pay periods, most people are going to do the same thing you did. So you only get one chance to create your advisor story. For me, I put it on a credit card, got it sold within the first month, made a little over $800. That's a pretty compelling story, and a lot of people will do the advisor order when I share that. Yeah, because they know I'm going to help them get rid of the product. But also let them know that it gets them paid all 5 ways, including a chance at the $500 rookie bonus. Okay, and if you want to learn more about how to get to advisors specifically, I've created a little webinar. It's called advisorchampions.com, and really explains it. But these are the 2 ways. And we're not going into detail on this tonight, but you can do a single purchase of inventory. Of course, there's your enrollment, there's tax and shipping that goes along with that. But it's $3,000 worth of product. You get 30% off, and you can choose whatever products you want. But again, you have product that you can use and get out there immediately. Or you can work your way to the advisor level over 3 consecutive pay periods. So again, for a more detailed explanation on that, just go to advisorchampions.com, and it is all on there. You also want to make sure you're using the tools. If you haven't ordered a packet of Impact magazines, I highly recommend that. When I do mixers, I'm using the Impact magazine. When I'm sitting down with somebody on a one-on-one or a 2-on-1, I'm using the Impact magazine. Okay, because inside the Impact magazine is everything that person needs to know about who Advocare is and what's possible and the relationships and how we get paid. Okay, so it's real easy for me to just take that Impact magazine, start flipping it to certain pages, and sharing what it can do for them. There's also the Solutions for Your Success DVD. You know, if you have your laptop with you, you can always use that as well. It's pretty much the same thing as the Impact Magazine, just in DVD format, so you have live stories there. All right, but those are two tools that I highly recommend. Do you need business cards? Absolutely not. Your best business card is going to be the Impact Magazine. On the back, you can put your label, or you can just write it in with a pen, whatever. That has stories in it. I mean, it's called Impact for a reason. It has impactful stories. And your card is only going to give information. Your card does not impact somebody at all. And typically, we know what we do with cards when we get them. Put them in a drawer somewhere and we forget about them. But the magazine sits out. So even if they say no at that point, they may keep that Impact Magazine around, and one day they're flipping through it and it's the right time for them. Okay, so make the investment in those Impact Magazines. They're only $1.50 each. Advocare doesn't make money doing those. It's really just a tool for us to help build our business. So where else can you go to get some additional trainings? Well, your Advocare microsite is loaded with videos from some of the top income earners in the company, corporate staff, even some guest speakers. So if you want to build this business, you do not need your sponsor, quote unquote. Okay. Now I say that because it's true. My sponsor is in Colorado. He couldn't just come down, you know, every week to do a mixer for me. I needed to learn how to do it. And while he and I had some great conversations on the phone, I'm kind of a visual person. So being able to watch these videos and kind of see how they go through it and how they set things up, that was vital to the growth of my business. So I highly recommend that you go there. You can also go to championmakerstraining.com. A lot of videos on there too. So there truly is no reason that you can't be successful in this. You can't use your sponsor as an excuse. You can't use your friends as an excuse, your significant other. Really, your business is based on you and what you're willing to do to make things happen. And those training videos are there for you, so use them. Okay, now responding to questions and objections. Okay, we get this a lot. So, oh, well, what's in Spark? Or is this one of those pyramid things? Here's what you need to do that. Do not get into the ingredient debate. Don't try to play Mr. Molecule. It's probably the worst thing that you can do. Okay, ultimately, it's about your story. You know, if somebody's like, hey, what's Spark? Like, dude, really, I don't know what's in it, but I know that when I have it, I get so much done, and I'm not jittery like when I have coffee. You're going to love this stuff. Okay, so real quick and concise, and it's true. For me, that is absolutely true. Nobody can take that away from me. Okay, but if I start getting, well, it has, you know, 120 milligrams of caffeine, it's got choline, it's got, you know, so on, and they're going to be like, well, so isn't caffeine bad? And then you got to get into that conversation. It's not necessary. We have the Scientific and Medical Advisory Board, who are doctors at the highest levels of their field, who formulate our products to ensure that they're safe and they get the results that they're supposed to. So it's not our job to go into ingredients. So if you say that, they're like, well, yeah, but seriously, what's in it? Then you can go and use the Scientific and Medical Advisory Board. Say, hey, look, again, I really don't know what's in it. I get great energy, but also we have the Scientific and Medical Advisory Board. They're the ones who formulate our products, and they're at the highest levels of the fields in toxicology, nutrition, oncology, men's and women's health. And, you know, if they say it's safe, trust me, I totally trust them, and I believe in them. And of course, they may be like, yeah, that sounds great, but seriously, you know, does it really work? And then you can be like, well, hey, look, you know, use the endorsements. Drew Brees uses it. If it's good enough for Drew Brees, it's good enough for me. And then as a last ditch effort, if they're like, okay, yeah, but I'm not sure about this, then there's the satisfaction guarantee. Okay, if they purchase a product, they don't like it, they can return it to Advocare for a full refund. Okay, so you have that satisfaction guarantee in there. Now, just as a side note, as long as I've been doing this, I have never had anybody go back to Advocare Corporate for a refund. Not that somebody wasn't satisfied with the product, whether it was flavor or they, you know, maybe they're real sensitive to caffeine, so Spark was just too much for them. I personally took it back and refunded them their money. Okay, why did I do that? They could have easily gone to corporate, and corporate would have taken care of them, and corporate's great, so there was nothing on that end. It's just, this is my business, and I feel it's my responsibility to take care of my customers. And let's be honest, I like all the flavors of Spark. So if you use one and it made you jittery or whatever, I'll take it back because I know I'm going to use it. I'm either going to use it for myself, or if it's a box, I'm going to use it for sampling. Okay, so don't feel like you have to send them back to corporate. Personally take responsibility for your customers and just provide great customer service to them. But as far as responding to any objections, use the Bulletproof Shield. It is going to be the best thing. And remember, the transition when somebody asks you a question that you're not sure about is, I don't know much about that, but what I do know is, and then go into your story or the SciMed board or whatever it is. All right, so let's go into your natural market. This is really where you want to hang out. Okay, we don't do any cold calls. I have never called somebody that I wasn't introduced to. I've never gone up to somebody's house, knocking on the door, like selling a used vacuum. All right, we don't do that. So you start with your close relationships and the people they know. Then you have casual relationships, you have acquaintances, and those that you just meet on a regular basis. So those are all going to be what we call your natural market. Okay, but the key there is the people that they know. So many of you who are on this, I didn't know initially. I met you through somebody who I enrolled as a distributor. Okay, but you're still my natural market because I'm being introduced to you through somebody that I know. All right, so it's important that you get used to asking people, hey, who do you know? Even if somebody tells you no to the products that, hey, I'm just not interested at this point, like, great, do you know anybody else that may be interested that I can help? If you ask that question, they may shut you down, but they may say, hey, you know what, my friend John over here was talking about wanting to lose weight. I think he may be somebody that you should talk to. I've had that happen a lot. So never leave anybody out, never prejudge anyone, always ask, okay? If you don't ask, you don't get. But to view an extended list of people you can talk to, and I mean, this is an extensive list. You're like, dude, I don't even go to a barber. But literally everything is listed on there, and you can write some names in there. So if you just go to our team websites, forallchampions.com, just click on the team member access link and then enter the username, Advocare, and password champions, and then look for the natural warm market. It's just a PDF file that you can download and print off. But this is a great tool to help you build your list. Highly recommend that you do that. And as far as who you're looking for to try the products, anybody who's attentive to their health now, that are willing to purchase the products, they're willing to learn and engage in a process, because that is one of the keys. This is a lifestyle, not a quick fix. So they have to be understanding of that, and they have to be seeking that lifestyle, not looking for a magic pill. If somebody's looking for a magic pill, I typically move on if I can't convince them this is the best way for them, because it's just not worth my time or my effort for somebody who's not seeking a lifestyle out of it. And on the business side, we're really looking for people who have discussed or a desire for changes in their life. Maybe they don't like things that are going on. They don't enjoy the job that they're at, or they don't get paid enough, and they want some positive changes in their life. You want to look for people who have a high moral character and also are coachable. Okay, so they'll listen to you. They'll do the things that are necessary to move their business forward. They have a specific motivation on money. They need a certain amount, so that's going to help them move a little bit faster. They have a strong work ethic. Okay, not somebody who just wants to sit back and sign up and expect people to come to them. And then they have to have that sense of urgency. If you can get somebody with all 5 of those characteristics, you have got a diamond in the making. Okay, this is somebody who is really going to move fast and can really be that person who takes your business to the next level. So these are all the things that we're looking for. And most people that you come in contact with may have 1 or 2 of these. Most likely, not all of them have 5, but some of these things can kind of be cultivated and can be learned. Okay, and we talked about the fortune is in the follow-up, so not going to go into a lot of detail on this, but ultimately, here's the deal. When you get into Advocare, it is very easy as a new distributor to be like, hey, I got this. I kind of did that at the beginning. I didn't use Matt, my sponsor, a lot at the beginning, and I struggled. There was a lot of frustration. So you want to employ your sponsor, and by employing them, what we say is use the success system, which is getting your sponsor in front of your prospects so that we can share our story, paint a little bit of vision for them, and get the ball rolling down the field. Okay, so you with your sponsor and your prospect, you're going to see a lot faster success. Without your sponsor, you're going to see a lot of frustration. And so when we follow up, really what we're trying to do is help them learn new behaviors. And you're going to show that you care by serving them in that way. And you want to set it up properly. Okay, anytime somebody's getting on product, whether it's a challenge or anything else, hey, this is what you can expect from me. I'm going to follow up with you every few days just to make sure you're taking the products the right way, that you're getting the results that you're looking for. Is that okay? Get them to say yes. The more yeses you can get somebody to say, the more likely they are going to be consistent with their product usage, and they're going to do the things that you guys said. And so when do you follow up? Well, on the challenge specifically, it's days 1, 3, 7, and 10 during the cleanse, and then about every 3 days after that. Make sure you download the 24-day challenge coaching checklist, and it has all those specific days on there. But again, it's every few days just to make sure that they're staying consistent with their foods and the products that they're taking. And so how do you follow up? Well, it's all about asking them specific questions. Okay, don't just ask, hey, did you have your M&S today? You need to ask specifically, hey, did you have your M&S today, and when did you take it? Okay, because again, you want to make sure that they're taking it at the right time. I've had plenty of people who I've asked that question, they took the whole strip pack at the same time. It happens, all right? It's not life-threatening or anything, don't worry about that, but it is not the correct way to use the product, all right? So we want to make sure that they understand how to use the products the right way. And that's going to just help them get more success. But you really need to listen closely. And we never, ever, even if they do something wrong, should you get on them for it. Okay, our job is to encourage them and to give them positive feedback and positive reinforcement. Okay, so if somebody does something wrong, I'll be like, hey, Jim, you really shouldn't take it that way. Here's the reason why, and this is how you want to take it. Okay, but just don't, no negative reinforcement, all positive reinforcement. Encourage them, just correct it. And I promise you this, you're going to have to do that several times. Okay, so it's listen, encourage, correct. Listen, encourage, correct. And it's probably going to happen several times before they get it right. Just understand that, accept it, and move on. Okay, but be purposeful about it, and you'll realize if you can do this correctly, it is very profitable for you because they will continue on a product and you'll have a loyal customer. And I talked about employing your sponsor. So the biggest thing your sponsor can do is bring more credibility and influence. Okay, we bring the experience, we bring the wisdom, the knowledge that maybe you don't have right now, so that you can learn. And that's kind of how this is. This is on-the-job training. So when we do a three-way phone call, your job is to be the introducer, introduce your prospect to your sponsor, and then put your phone on mute and allow your sponsor to do the rest of the call until they call you back in. Okay, so 2-on-1s and three-way calls that's really where you're going to accelerate your earnings because it's going to move people a lot faster. Okay, so the old saying, one person is gossip, 2 people are gospel, absolutely true. Third-party credibility goes a long way. And so recruiting your sponsor, you'll hear those 2 words used a lot. And really, we sponsor people. We don't recruit. All right. You don't get paid to have somebody sign up. We get paid to sponsor somebody, which means we lock arms with them and we help them through this process. So you need to understand that. You need to embrace it. You need to intentionally seek to guide, direct, and support your customers, your new distributors, but you also need to know where you stop and they start. So for distributors, especially new ones, I'm going to spend more time with them, but eventually once they start getting things down, they're recruiting or they're sponsoring new people, I'm going to step back a little bit and see how they do. Okay, and I may come in every once in a while, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time in their business if it's somebody who I know can take care of it, like Brandon and Olivia. I don't spend a lot of time, talking to them about business. I'm there for them by all means. I do three-way calls with them. But I am not calling every single person that they enroll and coaching them. That's their job now. Okay. And action earns your time, not words. We all know that. Actions speak louder than words. So do you build your business wide or deep? And what that means is, do you recruit more, or do you recruit somebody and then build through them? Well, the reality is you want to do both, because they both are rewarded by the compensation plan. So you want to be able to build your organization wide. So you should always be in sponsoring mode. And then you also want to build depth. Okay. So ideally, brand new distributors, you're really looking to bring on 3 new distributors that you can work with, help them recruit or sponsor 3 new distributors, and then help those 3 each recruit or sponsor another 3 distributors. Okay, and your team is going to duplicate what they see. So the more that you can do this, the faster your business is going to grow. And speaking of growth, we can't talk about that without talking about Success School. So Success School is Advocare's big training event that they do once a year in Dallas, Texas. This time it's going to be in July, at the middle of July. But this is where you're going to get training from the top income earners in the company, corporate staff. You're going to be able to meet the rest of your team. You're really going to be able to gear up for success, because you're going to get a lot of tools, tips, and trainings on how to build this business the correct way. And it's going to expand your vision for the future. When you're in that arena with over 30,000 different Advocare distributors, there's something about being in that arena that just kind of changes things, and it shows you that this is for real. This is not just you and your little town, with the people that are around you. This thing is really going. And if your boat's in the water, it's amazing what you can achieve with this. Okay, but the reality is all top earners attend Success School. We have a saying in here, lawyers go to law school, doctors go to med school, successful Advocare distributors go to Success School. So highly recommend that you get your ticket. And if you get your ticket, if you're a brand new distributor, if you get it right now within the first, I believe it's 2 months. I'll have to check on that again. I forget. I should know that. But if you get it within the first 2 months, Advocare is actually going to send you 2 boxes of Spark. So that kind of gives you a little incentive to do that. Tickets right now are, I believe, $99. They were discounted earlier. Price went up. But if you're a brand new distributor, you have a little bit of time to go ahead and get those and still get the free boxes of Spark. But what do you do now? Well, like I said earlier, if you're not an advisor, you need to get there as soon as possible. Go to advisorchampions.com and watch that video. Get your Success School ticket. Always remember, the biggest question you can ask anybody is, who do you know? That way you always know who you're going to be able to talk to next. Teach others to do the same, and keep in mind, people will always do what you do. So I want to end this with 10 quick action steps to get you on the fast track to success. And as far as individual momentum, a little tongue-tied here, what you want to do is send 10 care packages to your friends. So that includes Impact Magazine, Spark, meal replacements, maybe the DVD, just something that they can read. And in that Impact Magazine, you should make notes. So highlight a few pages, earmark them, and actually write in the magazine so that they can see that. And it's just 1 to 2 sentences max on each page. Okay, allow the page and what Advocare put together speak to them. Okay, find 10 friends on Facebook and instant message them. Share your story. Okay, spark 3 people a day, 10 on the weekends. And anytime you're going to, think about this. Doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, going to the car wash, getting a massage, chiropractic appointments. Be specific and be intentional in the places that you go to on a regular basis. So you have your Impact Magazine in your car, or, in your bag, and you have Spark samples with you. So that if you go to that doctor's appointment, you see people yawning, or you're wearing your Advocare shirt, they're like, oh, I've heard of that. What is it? You can share your story real quick and be like, hey, you know what? I've got something in the car. I want to just grab it and give it to you. Okay, and then you can follow up with them later. Sporting events, any church groups that you're in. Now, one thing that I've got to put this out there because I've seen it happen. do not join a church specifically for building your Advocare business. Okay, probably the worst thing you could do. All right, but the reality is, if you're true about your faith and you're doing it because it's something that you really want to do and you want to be a part of, well, it's all about building relationships. Those people are going to know what you're doing, and the conversation can come up. And I've had that happen at my church several times. So, you just want to get yourself out there. Parent-teacher conferences, just try and get to as many different events as possible, so you're always in front of new people and the conversation may come up. Okay. Follow up with people that you first shared Advocare with, and be transparent. Especially at the beginning of my business, I know I had a lot of roadkill. There were people I got on product and then I really didn't follow up with them. So eventually I just had to reach out and be like, hey, look, you know what? I apologize. I really didn't share Advocare with you the right way the first time. And I was just really excited. I was kind of new and I did you an injustice. This thing is really much bigger than I thought. And I've been able to do some pretty neat things with it. And I'd love to chat with you again so I can show you Advocare the proper way. And just find out when they're available. Okay, as far as group momentum. So some of you are brand new, maybe you don't have a group yet. Some of you have been around for a little while. This is one way that you can kind of get momentum going within your organization. So the 80-20 rule. Well, the reality is the top 20% on your team bringing in 80% of the revenue. Okay, so you need to reach out to those top 20, find out what their specific goals are for the next 2 pay periods, or what I'm doing right now is actually the next 90 days. So I'm doing calls, talking to people about, what they want for the next 90 days. And then, schedule a mixer with them, put it on the calendar. Make sure you go to freeconferencecalling.com, get a conference number, because what I recommend is at least every 10 days, you're doing a call with your team. And if nobody gets on that call, with freeconferencecalling.com, you can record the call and then just send out a replay number. And so all you have to do is go, hey guys, sorry, for any of you that couldn't make it, here's the replay number. Want you to go in there and listen to it. And you will get an email with all the people who did actually call in, so you can check to make sure that they were on there. And then if you like webinars like this, there's a free service called ManyCam. You can learn how to do a webinar. On the For All Champions website, we have a pre-made PowerPoint slide for 24-day challenge and some business training as well. With webinars, you can coach people all throughout the states, and they're very easy to use. So I highly recommend that you get there. But guys, that is it. I know I went a little bit longer, but hey, it happens. Hopefully this was valuable to you. And if you have any questions, I'm going to close this screen here and then stop sharing. But feel free to type in some questions. And that's, all right, I don't see any in there. I'll wait a second to see. But outside of this, guys, make sure that you're reaching out to your sponsor, letting them know where you stand, what your goals are, and make sure you're locking arms with them so that you can get the results that you're looking for. But with that, enjoy the rest of your evening, and look forward to seeing your success. And we will have a business training on Saturday. So I'm going to post that to the Facebook group page. It's going to be a very specific training on how to get people onto the products, more detail about, specific questions to ask and how to move them through the system. So hopefully you all will be on there. But enjoy the rest of your evening. Talk to you guys soon.